everybody, it's Kathy Champion and you're back with me in my craft room. And if you remember, we made these little all-occasion card set the day before yesterday. And I promised you that I was going to come back with the box and the envelopes. Well, I got kind of carried away yesterday with this card. I also wanted to show this to you because I did put some sequins on it, and I also put some Wink Stella on the jar, the flowers, and my butterflies. I don't think the camera's picking it up, but it is absolutely beautiful with the little added touches that I did. So anyway, I just wanted to bring that out and show you. But that's why I didn't do this yesterday, and I should have done this first, but nevertheless, here we go. What I have here is, I'm going to set my note cards over to the side. We're going to make a box very similar to this. This was my little test box, but as you can see, it's a nice little box. We're going to line the one that we're going to make it a little sturdier. It will definitely hold our cards and our envelopes. So I'm just going to leave these sitting here until we get our actual box made, and we are going to work on that right now. I've got this stamp set called Beautiful Friendship, and this is a new stamp set that will come out on June the 3rd on the Stamping Up the new catalog. Sorry, my allergies have really been kicking lately, so my voice sounds grovelly and I'm coughing, but I'm well. I'm not sick. I just dealing with allergies. What I did, hang on, I'll be right back. I need to get a drink of water. Okay, I am back, and I think I got the frog out of my throat, and now my throat does feel much clearer. Thank you for letting me take that break. Anyway, what I have done is I've got my 6 envelopes ready, and I did these on the envelope punch board, but you could also use the envelope template that we did. I don't know if y'all remember. And I started to do one, but I got going on these, and I just went ahead and punched them on the envelope punch board because it was easy. But you know, remember, we could put this on our 8.5 by 8.5 card and trace our lines and cut out our little notches and then do our fold lines, and it does the same thing. And you can use a corner rounder if you want to round your corners, but that's neither here nor there. You can use that, or if you have an envelope punch board, you can do that. Or if you already have pre-made envelopes, you can use those. So what I want to do with these envelopes to prep them, and I'm going to move this, we're going to make our box out of that pretty piece of pink, and I'm debating on what I'm going to do with the lid. I may do a white lid on the top of it, because we're going to decorate it anyway. It's going to get covered. But let's go ahead and work on these envelopes. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to make one, and then I'm going to make the rest of them offline, but I want to show you exactly what I want to do with these. We're going to go ahead and fold this, and just take your bone folder and, you know, smooth this out. Go ahead and get a nice crease on all of your folds. And I got something on that one, but it's going to be on the inside, and nobody's going to see that, so it will go like that. So I figured as long as it's on the inside, and I think what happened, I set something on top of it, and it drug across it. It might have been a punch or something. But it's okay, because no one will notice that when the card comes out. Nobody looks inside the envelope to see if there's a boo-boo. What I'm doing is I'm wanting to fold this envelope just like it's going to look as a true envelope. And I'm going to open it back up because I want to do some stamping. So I want to decorate our envelopes. And what I did from this Beautiful Friendship stamp set, I chose this rose and these 2 leaves, and also this little 2 little buds. And I thought they would be so cute. So I got my 2 colors of ink. I've got Blushing Bride and Garden Green, and these are the ones we're going to use. Now here's my rose. Now this is what is called a distinctive stamp, and what it does is it actually puts down an ink, and I'll show you. We'll do one before we do it on the envelope. I'm going to go ahead and open up both of my inks, because after I show you this, I'm going to go off camera and go ahead and do the rest of those, and then we'll come back. but I want to do it with the envelope open in case we have some ink to bleed through. I don't think we will, but just in case. So once you stamp this down, the distinctive ink does the highlighting for you. See how it's darker in the center and lighter around the outside? So it looks like it's already petaled. I love that. And then we're going to take the leaves and we can stamp them just like that. Isn't that pretty? And how pretty will that be on the corner of our envelope? I think it will be stunning. So that's what we're going to do. And then on the flap, we are going to do the other little flower. But I'm going to do one and seal the envelope up and show you exactly how we do this. And then we will move on to me getting them all done, and then we'll make our box. So I am going to stamp right there on the corner edge of that envelope. Just like that. And then I'm going to grab the leaves and I'm going to stamp them right there. Isn't that pretty? So now we know that this is the bottom of our envelope like that. I'm going to turn it around and I'm going to put this little flower bud right here. And that's the same type of stamp. So now let's go ahead and seal our envelope up. I'm just going to use some wet glue. And I'm going to put a little bit right along here. Just a little thin line. And then we'll seal that up. And I'm going to use my bone folder just to push that glue out, making sure that it's sealed. And there is one of our envelopes for our little cards. And let's slide it in, make sure that it fits beautifully. Now the other thing is to make sure that it will fit, because this envelope looks bigger than our box. And it is. That is creating a problem. Okay, maybe I need to cut these down. Yeah, they're quite a bit bigger than they should be. Okay, I'll regroup the envelopes and we will come back and I will have them stamped and ready to go and make sure they fit in our box. I'll be right back. Okay, everybody, we're back. And what I decided to do, instead of remaking all the envelopes, I'm going to revamp the box to accommodate the envelopes. I think that will be easier to do than it would be to have wasted all this paper on the envelopes that I had already done. So I went ahead and got them all stamped, and we have them all stamped on the corner with that beautiful little rose and leaves, and we have them stamped back here with the little rosebud, each one of them. So all we got to do is now is put them together. So I'm going to lay them over here. We're going to work on the box, and we will come back and glue those together in just a moment. Okay, now what I did, I went ahead and revamped the measurements that I needed for this, and it looks like we need about 1/2 inch of difference. So I'm hoping this is going to work. If it doesn't, well, we burned a piece of cardstock, but hey, it happens. So come along with me and let's see what we can get to work. The first thing I need to do is I need to cut this down to 10.5 by 9.5. So, I'm sorry. The bottom is 10.5 by 9.5. That's going to be the bottom of our box. So, 10.5 would be right there. By 9.5. And then we're going to do some scoring. We're going to score this at 2 inches. Let me look back at my other notes. Yeah, I think it's 2 inches. Let's look at our box. Because that was just the distance up where we make our score lines. And I think this was 2 1/4. Okay, so let's do that at 2 1/4, and I'm hoping I did that correctly. It's going to give it about a 1/4 inch on both sides. I think this is right. So we're going to go ahead and score this at 2 1/4. So 2 1/4. And I'm going to put this down and just use my score blade. And then we're going to turn it around and do 2 1/4. So basically what we're doing is 2 1/4 all the way around all 4 sides. And this will make our box. So 2 1/4. And one more time on this side. 2 1/4. Okay, so we're going to do the bottom and then we'll come back and do our lid. So what we're going to do is, I don't know if you can see the score marks, but they're there. What we're going to do is we're going to turn this. Now it has a smooth side and a textured side. I want the textured side on the outside, so I'm folding it up. And up, and after I get these folded, I'll go back and we'll crease. But I just want to get a really good fold on these first, and then we'll come back and do our burnishing. And you really want to have a good crease on a box. It is crucial for your box to come together good, for your corners to meet up. So make sure that you don't skip this step. Very, very important. I think in any type of paper crafting, you have to train your paper, and that's what we're doing. Now I'm just going to take a little pair, my little fussy cut scissors, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut, it doesn't matter which side, I'm using the longer side, which is the 10 1/2 inch side, and I'm cutting, no, I'm sorry, the 9 1/2 inch side, and I'm just going to cut up. Cut right into that score line, just up to that next score line, just like that. And then on your little flat piece, you want to come in and cut a wedge out. So all you're going to do is it's like cutting a little piece of pie out of your piece. And when it lays down, it's going to look like that. And what that's going to do is take a little bit of bulk out of that corner so that your corners will come together nice and crisp and tight. So here we go. We're going to cut right up into that score line. And then we're going to wedge this out just like we did the other one. Cut that piece of pie out. Just like that. And then we're going to turn it around, and on the opposite side of where you did that, you're going to do the same thing over here. So just cut up. And you want to get right in that score line if at all possible. And now we're going to cut that piece of pie out. Just wedge it out. And then we're going to do the same thing here. And any of you that have done boxes, this will be so easy. But I'm trying to explain it in case we have some new crafters watching. Because I remember when I did my first box, I was rather confused over it. And of course now, it's like second nature. I didn't get all that score line out, so I'm just going back in and straightening that up. And then I'm going to take my pie. Take my slice of pie out of here. Just like that. So now when you lay this down, you should have your little wedge pieces just like that. Now all we're going to do is put some glue on these and square them up as even as you can right there. I'm going to do a little test run on this before I glue anything. I want to see if our envelopes are going to fit. I'm going to grab a little, maybe these little paper clips like this will hold it. I just want to see if my envelopes will fit in here. Now let's scrap our envelopes. And still a little bit of a tight fit. That's what I was afraid of. Let's make sure. Yep, it needs to be a little bit longer than what it is. Guess I should have did a test run on this. Yep, a little bit more this way. About 1/4 of an inch. So this would be on the 10.5. So maybe we take it 10 3/4. This is exactly how I do my math when I'm coming up with a project. So let's do 3/4. I write this down because I will put this in my notebook and I will have that for future reference if I decide to do another box set at some other point in time. I can have these measurements to go back and I won't have to do this all over again. So I'm thinking if we do 1/4 of an inch, well, let me measure that just to make sure. No, we need to take it about 1/2 inch. So maybe 11. Okay, revamp this again. So we're going to actually take this up to 11. And I made my notes so that I will have that. Bring my little trusty pencil back over here, and I think that will do it. I think if we make that, we definitely have the right amount this way. It's got plenty of room that way. Yeah, over amount. But the lengthwise is not quite enough. Let's check the card. Yeah, we got plenty of room with the card both ways. So, I think we could actually do 9 by 11 and it would be perfect. Yeah, let's do 9 by 11. So we got, it's going to be a 9 by 11 piece, and we're going to do the same thing. I'm going to go prep a piece of cardstock, and we'll be right back. Alright, we are back, and I got another piece cut, and I think this is going to work. We are going to lay this out flat, and on these tabs, we are going to put glue. Just like that. And then we're going to bring this, I did it to the inside. Okay, we'll do it like this. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I am having an off day, y'all. It's just been one of those off days all day. But anyway, it'll get better. It always does. So I'm going to put this down flat on my work surface, and I'm going to press that glue down into that box so that we get a nice, and you want this nice mitered corner. You don't want your corners to look undone. So I'm going to do the same thing here. I am going to put glue It gets more difficult because you have to hold it, but basically we're just putting glue on all of these tabs. And I do them one at a time because liquid glue dries very fast, and I want them to be, I want to be able to hold them just like that to make sure I get that really nice neat corner. And then I'm going to lay it down and do the same thing. I'm going to press that bone folder and smooth that glue out so that it holds really well. And now we're going to do the same thing with this one. And then we're going to pop it inside, turn it up, make sure we get that evened up perfectly. Press it down. Just like that, making sure we get those edges nice and even. You want it to look just like that. And now we have our last one, and I'm going to put this one like this, where the tab is right here. It'll make it much easier for me to get the glue on it, and to also get it squared up when I bring it up. So I'm going to get glue all down on here, and then I'm going to put my finger under it, and I'm going to push this side down and this side up, and then I'm going to hold that corner, and I'm going to press that down. Then I'm going to do the same thing using my bone folder, get that glue all smushed out, and there we have our box. So now to do our top, I want the top to come down 1 inch over top of this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to measure the top of my box, and it looks like it's 6 3/4 by 4 3/4. So 6 3/4 by 4 3/4, and we're going to add 2 inches to that because we have to have an inch on both sides. So that would be 2. An inch here and an inch there would make it 2, so that equals 8 3/4. Same thing here, 2 would equal 6 3/4. So that's how I know what size I need to cut my paper. So I am going to grab a piece of white cardstock, and let me grab a piece over here, and we're going to cut this to 8 3/4. We're going to use it this way for the 8 3/4. So 8 3/4 would be right there. And then we're going to turn it and we're going to cut it at 6 3/4. 6 3/4. And then we're going to score an inch all the way around. So just 1 inch. So bring it in, let's put our blade up to the top, and let's score 1 inch, 1 inch, one inch, and 1 inch. And guess what we're going to do again? We're going to do the same thing we did with the box. We're going to miter the corners. We're going to go ahead and do a fold on all these sides, just like we did before. So we're basically, just with a smaller piece, we're replicating what we did earlier. Now I am going to do a test run on this and make sure that it fits. And it does. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the same thing I did before. I'm going to wedge out these little pieces. So I'm going to cut up and then wedge, just like that. And then I'm going to cut up on this one. And then wedge that out. We're going to turn it around. We're going to do the same thing on this side. And do that same thing. Just cut that little wedge out of that tab, just to give yourself that nice little neat fold. And then wedge right there. Okay, so now we're going to do the same thing with this one. We're just going to bring our tabs around and we're going to glue them down very neatly, making sure we square up those corners. So I'm going to get this glued down and I will be right back. Okay, we're back. I went ahead and got this glued together, and like I said, I did it just like we did this one. I glued everything to the inside, and as you can see, there's our lid for our little box. Now we have our box, and we are now ready to decorate this. But before I decorate it, I want to come in with some strips of cardstock. And I thought what would be really, well, I don't think this is going to work. I was going to do something with, I thought I would do something with a little bit, let's see, this might work. We'll have to cut it down. Let's go ahead and measure this. I think this is going to be 2 1/4, so we're going to go 2 inches. We're going to do this at 2 inches. Maybe 2 1/8. We'll go 2 1/8 by 6 1/2. 2 1/8 by 6 1/2. 2 1/8. And this is just going to cut off a tiny little strip of that. 6 1/2. So we have to open up our arm for our 6 1/2. Let me get that bone folder out from under me. 6 1/2 is right there. And what I want this to do is reinforce this box. This will give us some reinforcement. So I'm also going to cut a piece for the bottom. And my bottom piece needs to be 4 1/2 by 6 1/2. So 4 1/2 by 6 1/2. And I'm going to grab another piece of the Not Your Mama's cardstock because I love that for using it to reinforce things. It is the most sturdy cardstock that I have ever used. And I thought I had some already opened. What did I do with it? Let's just go ahead and, oh, here it is. I knew I had one that only had a couple of pieces in it. I like to use up one stack before I actually start into another. Now I forgot my measurements. I think it was 4 1/2 by 6 1/2. That's not a problem. We'll just measure again. Yep. 6 1/2 by 4 1/2. So 4 1/2, we're going to do 4 1/2 this way. Right there. And then we'll do 6 1/2 this way. And what this is going to give us is a nice reinforcement on the bottom. And see what I mean? That will give us the strength that we need. And then this will go right here and give us that extra strength. And I'm going to cut another piece just like this one. I think we can get the other pieces off of this. So let's see. Let's cut this at... Do y'all do that? You forget your measurements as soon as you take them up. That is 2 1/8. 2 1/8. And we need it to be 6 1/2. Yep, and 6 1/2. Okay, so now we have both of our pieces to go in here. Now we need our 2 end pieces, and they are going to be oh yeah, that's going to fit really, really good like that. So this is going to be 2 1/8. And the other piece will be 2 1/8. And I'll have all these measurements in the description. So if you want to make this, and if you don't have the heavy cardstock, if you got chipboard, you can use it. If you have cereal box, you could use that, but you might want to cover it because you wouldn't want it to be, you know, commercialized cereal box when you're, you know, especially if you want to give this to someone. You could put some pattern paper on it. Just glue some pattern paper on it and then cut your piece. That would work. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take and put a good amount of glue. I'm going to do my little swirlies like I usually do. That kind of ensures that I'm getting it all the way around. This is just like the way I like to apply my glue. And then I'm going to bring this over and I'm going to drop this in just like that, and I'm just going to press it down. Let that glue get settled in there really good. And we're going to put the one in here. Same thing, I'm just going to swirl my glue. And we're going to set this one right in here just like this. And this is going to really make our box a lot more sturdier, and just a stronger box. It always makes for a nice gift. So we're going to do the same thing with this one. We're just going to work our way around. We got one more piece to put in, and that's this piece right here, and then we'll have this part of our box done. Okay, now we have a really good sturdy box. I mean, this box is very, very sturdy. I wouldn't be afraid to even put candy in the box like this. Of course with plastic wrap or wax paper or something. But let's see now how our cards will fit in. And our little lid. Okay, so now we need to reinforce our lid because this is made out of very thin paper. So I want to do the same thing with this. I want to reinforce the lid all the way around and the top. So I am going to, actually, you know what I want to do with the top? I want to use a piece of this paper. Do y'all remember this paper? I did this the other day when we made the background paper. And I love the way this turned out. I thought it was so pretty. And I have these 3 pieces left over. And I thought, wouldn't it be pretty to have that in the top of the box? But I'm thinking we probably are going to need to piece this. So let's see. It's really hard to piece this and get it to come together without it looking like it's been pieced. So we could do it like that. I'm going to go ahead and do that, and then after we get the bead of glue on this, we'll cut this down to where we need it. I think this will work. Just like that. And now we need to measure this, and we need this to be 6 3/4 by 4 3/4. It's going to be like 4 1/2. That's okay. 4 1/2 by 6 1/2. We'll do it like that and just have that little edge in there. I think it'll be okay. Let's bring our arm out, and 6 1/2 is right there. So we just needed a tiny little piece on there. And you know, something that you could do that would look really pretty if you wanted to is you could put down some red, a red piece in here. But I think that would be an overkill. I'm going to go with this. So I'm just going to go ahead and, of course, this has ink on the back because we made that paper, if you remember. You really can't make your own pattern paper without getting ink on something. It's just the nature of the game of inking your paper up. But it doesn't matter because that side is never going to be seen. And I got ink, not ink, but glue all over the place. I thought this would just be really neat to have something like this on the inside. We're still going to reinforce these side pieces. So I know they're 1 inch. So we're going to do 1 inch by 6 3/4, and I think this is 4 3/4. So let's cut this down to 1 inch, and I'm going to go just a shy less than an inch, just barely. Okay, so this is my 1 inch piece, and we're going to go to measure twice, cut once. Remember that. 6, just shy of 6 3/4. I'm just shy of it, so I'm going to pull it back just a hair. And let's see if this will fit in here, and it does. And now let's see if this one will fit in here. And it's shy just a little bit. So we're going to need to cut another piece of Not Your Mama's. And I'm going to do the same thing. I think I'm going to cut it this way. I'm going to get an inch strip off on this side. just a little bit shy. And then we need to take it to 6 1/4. I mean, shy of 6 3/4. So there is 6. That's 6 1/2. That would be 6 3/4. And we're going to bring it back just a hair and cut. A lot of times when you're putting something inside of a box, you measure it and then just come back ever so slightly to get what you need. So we're going to cut one more strip off of here. And let's do again at 1 inch. And this one is going to be 4 and just shy of 4 3/4. So there's our 4, there's 3/4, and we're going to pull it back just ever so slightly and cut. And then this piece should fit right in here, and it does. Reinforcing that box is what's so crucial. Let's see. Let's try this piece. And it is 4 3/4 and just shy. I think that will work. And this piece is going to need to be cut just a little bit shorter so it will fit in there. And that's what you have to do. You have to do a little trial and error with these types of things. Because, you know, paper's not perfect. I got paper in my track. Did y'all see that? Paper in my track. I can't have that. Let's see if we can get a pokey tool or something and get that out. Whenever that happens, you know, just find something that you can pull it out with. I mean, that piece went down in the track. Look at that. I don't think I've ever seen that happen before. Okay, that piece now should fit right there. And we're good. All we got to do is glue those in, and then this piece will be done. And then guess what? We get to do the fun part, and that's the decorating. Always the fun part. I love the decoration part of any project. It's the most fun part of any of it. So I'm going to just do the boring stuff, and that's gluing. The reinforcement is not the fun part, but it is necessary. We have to make sure that things are sturdy and strong. And I'm going to go in with my bone folder, and I am just going to squish this down in here really good. I'm going to come around on this side and do the same thing. And you want to make sure this box stays nice and square. Tell you what, let's not do that side. Let's come back over on this side. And I'm going to put that in just like that. And now we can come in on the ends. I have found that, and I don't know if anybody else does that or not, but circles of glue seem to work better for me when I'm gluing anything down. If I can just do circles of glue and keep it very light, and it gets the glue on all parts of it, because once you press it down, it kind of smushes out the glue, and it just gives me a really good hold when I do that. So you'll see me in card making or anything that I'm putting together, I'll always do what I like to call circles of glue. So, and that's in nice and tight. So now let's decorate. Yay, we get to the fun part. I'm so happy. So now we have to figure out what paper we're going to use where. Now, you know, this box would be so cute. You could put something on here, up here, a big label, and go with it. But, you know, we're going to do something a little more fancy than that. So let me look at this beautiful pack of Flora. Flora number 3. Now, y'all know that I have used this paper quite a bit, and I love it. And I am going to just go in here and find something beautiful. Oh, look at these. We could definitely put one of these on the top of it. I love that paper. But I love that one too. You know what would be so pretty? To do it, maybe in this, and put a nice pretty black, maybe bring this where we have a nice border. I think I'm going to do that. I think. I don't know. I still love this. Okay, this is one out. So we're going to go with this piece. So I don't know that I'm going to do the sides. I like that solid. We might do some stickers or something on the side because it's just so pretty like it is. I'm going to look into my rectangle dies. No, ovals. I want something with an oval. So these are all of my oval dies that I have. And that one is very pretty. This one is gorgeous. Let's see how this one would look. Is that too big? Oh, that would be so pretty. Ooh. Okay. I am going to cut a piece off of here. Maybe this way because I want to lay this on here so the flowers are going in the right direction. So I'm going to measure. I always use my grid line here to let me know how far I need to go with this. When, you know, how far I need to cut this piece off. And it looks like to me about 4.5. So I'm going to cut 4.5 inches off of this piece. So 4, maybe we'll do 4 3/4. I'd rather for it to be a little bit more than not enough. Okay. And now we can lay this piece, and we're going to grab our die cut machine. I'm going to lay this up here, and I'm just going to lay this down right here on top of it. I don't know that I'll need a shim for this. I hope not. I don't think so. That paper's nice and thick. And I'm going to bring it back to me. And let's hope that we got a good cut on that. If we didn't, we'll have to run it through again. We did. Look at that. Beautiful. Alright, this is where I use my little spatula. If y'all have one of those, it came with my Cricut. And I don't use my Cricut as much as I guess I should. I just don't. I am more of a hands-on crafter, and I like to do it. I like to do things myself. Yeah, I use dies, but I still feel like I'm doing it. The machine's not doing it for me. And I can't find the spatula, and I was going to show you how I get this up. Okay, if we can't find the spatula, we'll use a pokey tool. And look at that. Now I'm going to make sure all my little holes are punched out. And look at that. Is that not gorgeous? Love it. Okay, so I'm going to rake my little pieces off of this, off of my magnetic. I need something to rake those off with. Let's see if this will work. Okay, let's see what else we want to put on there. I'm thinking maybe a smaller one in this darker color, or maybe a teal. So let's see. Let's look at the smaller one down. And that would be this one. And I can put this one back in. And I'm thinking that that would be so pretty done in a solid. How about this? That's gorgeous. I think I'm going to cut a piece of this. This was one of the boxes that I cut that wasn't the right size. And I want to use this, so I think I'm going to cut a piece of this to cut that oval out of. Okay, let me regroup. I'll be right back. I'm going to move this, cut this, get my oval cut, and then I'll be right back. Okay, everybody, I am back, and what I have done is I have cut out this little scalloped circle, as well as this larger one out of the print, as you saw earlier. And I also cut a mat for the top of this box, and I thought by using this pretty greenish teal color that it would accent and play off of the colors in this piece. And I do love the way that looks. And then we're also going to put this on top, and I pulled a sticker off of the sticker page, Happiness Blooms from Within, and I thought that was so pretty. I'm going to show you what we're going to do, because I want to pop that up so that it sits up off of the box a little bit, so I don't need the sticky on the back. And I'm going to show you a way to get rid of that sticky so you can put your dimensionals on it, is use our powder tool. So by using the powder tool, you can take all the stickiness off of the back of that. So just powder it up really good. And now that's no longer sticky. Great way to get rid of the sticky if you have something that is too sticky and you don't want the stickiness on it. That's a great way to do it. Now we can put that down on dimensionals like we want it to be, and not have to worry about it sticking where we don't want it. So I am going to go ahead and glue my mats down. So I'm going to leave the top of this box closed, just like this, while I go ahead and get this on it, because it's more stable like this. So again, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm doing my little circles of glue. This will ensure that we got glue all the way around. And then I'm going to lay this on, and I want to keep just that slight border all the way around. Just like that. And I'm just going to press that down, make sure that it's adhering really well. And then we want to put this piece on, just like that. And I think the same thing I'm going to do it. That's pretty too, isn't it? But I do want this. That was the piece that I decided on. And with die cuts, you always have a right side and a wrong side. So when you die cut, whichever side is up is the right side, and the underside will have the embossing on it. It'll be a little bit different. And I'm sure if you've die cut, you already know that. So let's get this about half and half, right in the middle. Now I'm going to take that off, and I'm going to press this down using my bone folder, just to make sure that piece is pressed down really well. And now we can put this piece on, and I am going to put my glue all over the back. And I love how delicate this looks. This looks so pretty with the little lacy edge on it. So now we're going to get our dimensionals. I'm going to use some of these bigger ones, and I'm going to turn this piece over, and I'm just going to stick these I want to put quite a few on it. I don't want this to come loose. I'm definitely going to get it around the edges. Just like that. Maybe we can do one more in the middle. And I'm going to use my little picky tool, and we're just going to pull these off. And then we're just going to decorate this right in the middle, just like that. And then that has some dimension on it. And look how pretty that looks. I love the way this has turned out. I don't think we need anything else around here. I do see one little place here that I want to trim that out. So I'm going to take my small Carta Bella scissors. And you can look around your box, and if you see edges that is hanging over just a little bit, just take your scissors and just trim that off, just like that. Let's see, and now you don't even see that. And I just run my finger around the edge to make sure that all my edges are nice and tight and even. And now we have a wonderful little gift box filled with cards and envelopes that's ready to give to someone. Now, if you want to come back and put that green all the way around here, that would be another point of interest. And you might even find some stickers that you'd want to put in there. Like this right here would do this side. I think I'm going to do that. I like the way that looks. So let's go ahead and... You know, I'm a lot like you are when you're crafting. You know, you're never quite done with it. Just one more thing. I do that so many times after I finish a project that I have recorded. I'm like, oh, I need to add this on it, or I need to add this. Just that one more thing. So I'm going to measure this piece, and it looks like it's about 2 inches. So I'm going to cut that in half at 1. And this looks like it would be perfect for the 2 ends. So now all we have to do is cut a piece to go across the long edge. And I think this would probably be our best piece to take it off of. So I'm going to do 1 inch. Right there. And 1 inch. Oops, that slipped. We could always take the 1 inch off from over here. It would probably be a lot easier. So 1 inch there. And we're going to need to cut this one down. So I think this is 6 1/2. 6 3/4. So we're going to do it at 6 1/2 to give us that little teeny bit of border. And this one, same way, 6 1/4. Bring this back over, and this piece can go down right here, just like that. And there's our 2 side pieces and our other piece. So we can get this out of our way. Now let's go ahead and glue these pieces on. I think this is going to be really pretty like this. I love that pink and that green together. really is very soft. It looks very springy. Just like that. And I am going to turn this on its end so I can see exactly where I want to drop this at. And how about right there? Press it down. We're going to turn the end and do the same thing with this one. And just, you know, keep in mind, if you make one of these, make it the way you like it. You know, I always say, do you make things pretty like you like them. You know, you might like a darker color. You might like black and white. I love black and white. I think it's so pretty. And this piece is short. Let's take that piece up because I need to cut a longer piece. I thought I got that one right, and I don't know how I came up short on that one. That's okay. And we'll drop this one right here. And then we get the one piece in the back, and again, we're going to cut this at 1 inch. And let's see, I think it was 6 and... Six and a half. Right there. And now that one's the right size, and we can put that right on there, just like that. And then this will be a done deal. Out of our way, and we are done. That turned out super cute. I love that little white border all the way around. I love that green with the pinks, and when you open it up, you've got a box full of greeting cards and envelopes that have been decorated that are so pretty. So what a nice little gift to give someone. This would be a wonderful thinking of you gift or something like that. I love the way it turned out. I hope that you will try to make something like this in your craft room or your craft table, your kitchen table, wherever it is you craft at. This was so much fun. It was just a lot of fun to make. The hardest part for me was figuring out the measurements, and once I got that done, the rest of it came together really, really well. So, like I said, if you make one of these, I want to see it. So head over to our Facebook page at Random Acts of Crafting by Kathy Champion and ask to join. No obligations. You just answer a couple questions and you're in, and then you're free to post your little works of art there, cards, any type of paper crafting that you like to do. You can, or any type of crafting as far as that goes. It is Random Acts of Crafting. So, you know, you might paint. If you paint, post your paintings there. We'd love to see them. But anyway, I'm going to close for now. I want to thank you so much for tuning in and watching this today. I hope that this was an inspiration for some of you out there. And I pray that God will bless you and keep you. And as I always say in closing, let everything you do and say bring glory to our Father in heaven. He is worthy. I love you all, and until we craft again, bye-bye.